And we're back once again, only on this last call. Last call of the alcohol, only on the lastcallpodcast.com. And joining me here once again, it is the Christmas early edition. We're going to try to keep things light and fun, or we'll try at least. And this man here is already spiking the eggnog. He's making his Christmas wish list. He hopefully will be seeing Santa, going, Santa, look, just give me UFC tickets, front row all VIP passes. If you can, just give Dana White a lot of coal. But that's a different story, a different day. I give you once again from MMA Oddsbreaker podcast, Eurosport UFC, and also his own podcast over at the Netherlands. I give you the man, the myth, the legend himself. I give you Marcel Dorff. So Marcel, let's start off here with well, it's if you know with season's greetings or I guess season's beatings. Let's talk about the big news right now, world of MMA. Yes, there was a fight within a fight. If you watched the Anthony Joshua versus Jake Paul fight, I feel bad for you. And if you were there, you got to see Andre Arlovski taking on not one, not two, not three, but four YouTubers, including Jack Doherty, in which all of them ran away after they started realizing, oh crap. This is a bad idea. Marcel, why are these people invading all these goddamn, social media influencers and YouTubers? Just stay in your own lane. Just stay over the YouTube side. Stop picking fights with fighters. It's just what's going on. I blame you, Marcel. You're like, you're part of that generation here with all the YouTube people. Why do they keep doing stupid stuff?
Because they're a bunch of cunts, and people give them like the opportunity. People talk about them, and that's what they want. It's like even bad publicity is publicity, so they don't give a shit. They're just a bunch of cunts, that's all. And yeah, I hope he got his ass kicked back by Andre.
Oh, he ran away, and he had two of their friends swung punches, and then Arlovski, punched and kicked one of them. The
Yeah.
funniest part is like they have a security guard. I guess this kid, Doobie or whatever the hell his name is. I'm not giving him credit. So yeah, security guard is looking at the guy like, yeah, I'm not getting involved with Arlovski. I mean, the one person who is smart is the one who's a security guard going, I'm not gonna tar. I mean, you had to find it out wrong. The security guard is basically what, yep, I want none of this.
Mhm. I mean, it's probably the smartest thing, that you don't want anything of that, Um, like I said, man, these guys just a bunch of just a bunch of retards and cunts. I don't have any other words for these guys. Um, it's a generational thing. I feel like but yeah, what can you do about it? Kick their asses pretty much. I think that's what Andre tries. So yeah.
Well, is it time for the UFC and even I know you can't speak for boxing, but is it time for UFC to just go, look, we don't want you part of this. I get it. You bring fans, but as somebody said, well, it's entertainment and it draws eyeballs. Yes, technical porn draws eyeballs. Jerry Springer drew eyeballs. Like if you were a powerful company, at what point do you want to go like, I want to hang out with like better people, not like, well, yes, I have a YouTube channel. A bunch of idiots watch me do stupid stuff. Like, should the UFC start mandating more rules? Like, we are not going to have any YouTuber like around our events. We do not want you people. Go away. Just do
I
something
mean,
else.
look, listen. This was not Dana related or anything, but Dana also like invites guys like this, like these YouTubers, these how do you say that, those influencers. That's what he wants. Dana hates the media, like the normal media, but he loves these influencer kind of guys who suck his dick like for 24/7, and then go like being annoying to fighters, and they get all the access from him because he can like collab with them online, So, and that's probably how the boxing looks at it as well. They can collab to each other. They have like millions of fans who follow them for some reason, because also like those younger generation, a bunch of degenerates, some of them, a lot of them actually, who think like that actions don't have how do you say, words or whatever, don't how do you say that?
But actions don't have consequences.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
like
Thank
they
you for
do. Like
filling me in. Yeah.
ask Sean Strickland what happened when he had a bunch of YouTubers in there. He took three. It was a 3-on-1, and he basically just destroyed all three of them. Like,
Yeah, but I don't understand these guys. Listen, I'm also a fat fuck, but I'm not going to challenge like a fighter to how do you say that, to sparring or whatever for some views, man. But that's the sickness with some of these guys of this generation. I mean, the internet has destroyed a lot of people's brains. And listen, the internet also brought some good stuff. I always say it because without the internet, for example, I would have probably never known you, and we would have never done this podcast together now. So they also have some good things, but there are also some really bad things. Things go viral, and people don't have boundaries anymore when they can make money. And definitely with these younger kids, I feel like if they can make money, they lose all the boundaries, all the rules, all the facts that happen. And it's a very dangerous path to get on, in my opinion.
there's Misfits boxing, and we know about that. There is BK, bare knuckle boxing. We know about that. I get why they do it. It's when you don't have a TV deal, when you don't have billions of dollars, it's like, well, we work with anybody. It's sort of like it's like the porn industry. We'll take anybody as long as you haven't killed anybody. Well, even then, we might look bad. But you know what I mean? You understand that from those groups. I guess I'm shocked at the UFC. It's like, why do you need these people? You have billions of dollars. Like, I get Dana loves it, but are you surprised like Mark Shapiro or even Nick Khan haven't stepped in and went, like, we need to get rid of these people. They make
But,
us look like we're a clown show at times. We are associated with basically like the bottom of the barrel.
bro, it's with all rich people. I see it all the time. You see, for example, I can give you examples like people who I know who don't have a lot of money. If you go to their houses, they try to share everything with you. They are nice to you, they share everything with you. They even try to give their last penny, which they don't have to do. But when you get rich, a lot of these people, I don't want to say everybody, but a lot of these people, man, they complain or listen, they make, for example, let's say you make $5 million, but if you sell your mother, you make $5 million with 100,000 extra. These people will sell for $5 million and $100,000 extra would sell their mom, for example. You know what I mean? So there is no boundaries. Like it's pure greed at a certain moment. And yeah, listen, I'm not a rich guy, so I cannot say that I would be the same or I wouldn't be the same. You know what I mean? But greed is a bad thing, and you see it more often and often.
How would you fix it? Let's say I put you in the UFC and Dana's gone. A lot of people are celebrating. You'll probably get a lot of champagne from guys like Ariel Hawani going, "Hey, love to get access again. Hey, thank you for getting rid of Dana," but it's a different story. Like, how do you fix this when, unfortunately, now the fighters sometimes live online? They are whether doing OnlyFans, they're doing TikToks, so they're running into all these people. Like, how do you fix it, or is there no fix? Because especially for American fighters, a lot of these guys almost they interact with all these YouTubers because they're all in the sort of an online community now.
Listen, man, first of all, a lot of people thinking I've done something against Dana. Listen, I respect what he did, but I'm not always okay with what he does, and that's what I'm calling out pretty much. But that's just my opinion, he can do whatever he wants. Listen, the OnlyFans thing, for me, it's like, listen, for me, if you're a woman and you sell yourself online, you're a 304. I can't say anything else. You are just like that. And for the people who buy it, it's even more pathetic. I know, but at the same time, these women sell themselves for pretty much they sell their shit online. I mean, I cannot respect that. I will never talk shit to. Listen, if a woman tells me I'm on OnlyFans, I would say I would not be behind it. But hey, do whatever you want. But in my opinion, you're 304. You know what I mean? But it is what it is. But yeah, I mean, you got sometimes it sucks that like a professional full-time athlete has to make extra money outside of the company to be able to have a living. And I think that should change. I think, and listen, the guys at the top don't have that problem, but the guys at the bottom have that problem. And it should be better if they get paid more at the same time. listen, I feel like there's two sides of the thing, you know. I think they should be paid more. I also think a lot of these fighters don't know how to do their financials pretty well, you know, because sometimes I'm hearing like, yeah, I'm gonna fight, and I put all my money back in the day. It's not now because they cannot do it anymore. But I put all my money on a win for me, and then they lose by split decision, and they lose all their money. So that's also not very smart. But um, yeah, listen, we have talked about long time about the union and unionizing, but it won't work as long as like the top dogs in the divisions don't do anything about it, you know? Because listen, if they go in a union and it's like pretty much the guys who are like making 10 plus 10 or 12 plus 12, Dana says, okay, bye. We don't care. You know, we can get 100 under Dana White contender series fighters who want to fight for 10 plus 10 over here instead of you, you know? So it only works when like the big dogs who make good money stand up, but they will not stand up because they make the good money. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but that part, just in general, like how do you reach younger fighters who, and we saw this in now the NFL recently with Puka Nacua went on Aiden Ross's, live stream, and they tricked him into doing a Jewish dance, which is basically rubbing your hands as if you're being a money grubber. This happens a lot, and again, I get it. A lot of these fighters don't really get it. They're a younger crowd. Some don't follow the politics. Some just don't really understand. Like, okay, well, hey, I'm online. What's going to happen? But as somebody who knows the internet pretty well, how do you explain to fighters like you got to be, aware of who you're bringing in? You can't just bring in YouTubers. This makes you look bad. This makes you look like you are part of the clown show.
I don't know how you can say it, man. I have no idea. I also see like fighters collabing with YouTubers as well, you know. And um, the thing is, and that's also a real big thing in the MMA community with fighters, they're really sensitive, you know, and I'm not talking about physical being like being soft, but they're soft with comments, you know, a lot of times, you know, I have it as well. And sometimes I had fighters before in my DMs who are like, why you talk shit about me? And it's like, I'm talking shit about you. What are you talking about? For example, yeah, but you said this about me in your podcast. I'm like, dude, it's not shit talking. I'm just saying what I saw, you know. I didn't say you're bad or anything, but I said it was a bad fight, you know. I'm just being honest. I have to give my honest opinion. And that doesn't mean that I hate you or that I hope you do not well. I'm just saying what I saw, you know. And I was like, I'm pretty mild still, you know, because I don't call you like trash or anything, you know. And then they come to senses 9 or 10 times and they're like, okay, yeah, maybe I was a little too sensitive there. But it happens a lot of times, you know. And then I'm like, don't be too sensitive. And they want these guys, these YouTubers, who are like, oh man, you're a fucking legend, man. Thank you so much for doing this collab. Man, I've been a fan of you for 4 or 5 years. You're absolutely great. You will be a top fighter within 2 years. Listen, these guys are just bootlickers, you know, and I'm not a bootlicker. Listen, if you ask me an honest question, I give you an honest answer, you know. And I had fighters before who were like upset with it and just explained to them, like, listen, what I say is not what I hope. You know, if I give my picks on my podcast, for example, I think what I say is going to happen, you know, or I say what I think is going to happen, you know. What I hope is totally different from what I say sometimes, you know. And that I have that with some fighters, and some understand now when I explain it to them. It's like it doesn't mean like if I say that I think your opponent will win, that I want him to win, and that I wish you will lose. No, that means that I think he will win, and that you probably are going to lose. And if you win, then that's all good. You know, I had one fighter, for example, who came to me in my DM, and he was like, I said, I will not say what fighter it was, but it was a matchup, and I said the other guy has an advantage on the ground. I said, you know, and then after the fight, he grappled that guy for 15 minutes. You know, so he had to probably was better on the ground. And he came in my DM. And he's like, "I smashed your boy," and I was like, "What do you mean?" And he's like, "Yeah, you said in your podcast that he had an advantage over me on the ground. I showed you I can hold it for 15 minutes and I'll grapple him." And I was like, "Dude, why you care what I say?" You know, I didn't mean it. I didn't mean it in a bad way. I thought that he would have an advantage, but obviously you had. So I said, "Congratulations." And he's not even my guy, you know. But I'm just saying what I thought. But I was wrong, you know. So that happens. And he was like, "Yeah, but I wanted to show you that I was better on the ground." So yeah, you show that now. That's okay. You know what I mean? So sometimes I have the feeling like the fighters the fighters are also in this with how do you say that, with these crazy guys, those crazy influencers, because they're kind of like, how do you say that, they're sucking up to them. It's either like they're sucking up to them or they being super rude against them, you know. But when they're sucking up to them, a lot of these fighters are like, oh, you're a cool dude, let's collab or whatever, you know. And when they're rude, they're going like, they're really bad, really upset, you know. And me, I see myself more as a media guy, media member. I try to I try to stay neutral, you know, and sometimes it's difficult because I also have, I would say, three good friends, which I consider friends as fighters, you know, and then it's difficult. But and then I try to stay out of discussions with other people, you know what I mean. But I always try to stay neutral, even when it's my countrymen. When a lot of people are super biased over here, I always try to stay neutral, you know, and that's a difficult thing sometimes. So yeah, it's and that's what I say with fighters, they sometimes profit from it to collab with these influencer guys. Like, for example, listen, Demetrius Johnson profit also from MMA Guru, and the same other way as well. I don't have a problem with it. I have no problem with Guru at all. I never had a problem personally with him, you know. But he is the biggest guy with influencing on YouTube, and he did a collab with Demetrius Johnson. Demetrius Johnson is a former champion, you know, is a legend of the game in my opinion, best flyweight ever. So he collabing with an influencer, other guys going to do that as well. I see also Mike Perry doing influencers collaborations. I see who else was it last time? I think I see Moicano doing it. A lot of guys do that, you know, but it's because a lot of these influencers, and they're not Guru in particular, but more like the more unknown guys, are licking their asses, you know. They're a bunch of bootlickers, a lot of them, you know. And the fighters don't really like to have like instructional conversations sometimes, you know. They're like, you're not a fighter, you're not going to tell me anything. I'm not going to tell you anything, but I'm just telling you what I thought, what I saw, you know. I'm not telling you how to do stuff, you know. But everybody can have an opinion. So, I mean, they have an opinion on the work the MMA media does. They never wrote an article or whatever. So while you can have like an opinion on that, I could say they can have an opinion, I don't mind. So it's a little bit of like going from both ways, you know. And if you don't want to have to influence those influencers, or how do you say that, getting into this thing, you shouldn't collabing with them, you know what I mean. So they're pretty much pulling them into it, in my opinion. So they cannot do anything about it, but because they're already into it, and Dana loves these guys, you know.
Let's go to something a little more positive
Mm-hmm.
because I feel like I'm bringing
Please.
down. I just like Pete of the eggnog, and you're like, oh my God, this sucks. So let's go to something that's more fun.
Yeah.
They announced it. It's March 7th, UFC 326.
Mm-hmm.
Caio Borralho versus your guy, Rainier Day Ritter. So take me through this fight. Is this a good fight for both guys? Is this a fight that you look and go, hey, I like it? Or is this a fight where you look and go, one guy has the advantage over the other?
I love that you call Rainier my guy, since I have better contact with Caio than with Rainier, actually. But
Yeah, but he's from the Netherlands. I mean,
yeah,
you've been dying to have him
I
win a
mean,
title, bring it to the Netherlands, and then you can start making these big meetings between like
brother, I wish nothing but the best for Rainier, you know, but I couldn't care less that we're like slipped out of through a vagina in the same country. You know what I mean? So I couldn't care less about that. But the matchup is fun, I think, you know. You got like Caio coming off a loss against Imavov, which was an unofficial number one contender fight. Same was for Rainier, which I heard behind the scenes that if he won against Brandon Allen, they were trying to get him to fight Chimaev next, which also didn't win. So it's pretty much like the two guys who lost the big fights last time fighting each other now. It's interesting. It's 3 rounds. Both guys really good in the grappling, obviously. Great jiu-jitsu. Yeah, it's an interesting one. You know, I think Caio's stand-up is better than Rainier's stand-up. You know, so on the striking, I favor Caio, but I think Rainier can match him on the ground, and maybe he's even better on the ground. So it's a really interesting fight. Yeah, for both guys, it's a must-win situation over here. We got a lot of guys who can contend in the middleweight division right now, you know, and we have these two who just lost a fight, and if they lose again, they probably have to fight down. And now they have to fight like Borralho has to fight one one step, one ranking down. Renier gets one level ranking up. But yeah, one of these two, if they win, they will be back into the mix for fighting in for the top five or later next year. So it's an interesting fight, man. Style-wise, also because they're, like I said, they're pretty good on the ground. I would say, yeah, it's an interesting fight. Looking forward to it. It's yeah, big fight for both guys, I think.
All right, so take me to Kyle Borralho. If you are running his camp, I'll say hey, this is what we're gonna do. This, you're in charge of chief strategy. Like, can he do what Brendan Allen did and sort of bully Rainier to Ritter, or is he less physical of an Allen and more of a just a pure striker where he needs to mostly focus on keeping at a distance?
So this is a difficult question because, like, Renier de Ridder, he said he's fit again, and he really felt bad in his last two fights. And I know that's afterwards saying it, but we will see how that looks in this fight. I think, like I said, Caio is. If you look at the striking, I have more faith in Caio than Renier. If you look at the ground game, I feel like Caio is good on the ground, but I feel like Renier is really, really good on the ground. So for Caio, I would try to keep it standing for a long time because I think he can do damage there. At the same time, Caio knows his grappling game is good, but how good is it compared to Rainier's? I know Rainier's is top notch. I know Caio is good, but I haven't seen it against somebody like Rainier. Like we saw Rainier's grappling against also pretty good grapplers already. So it's a very, like I said, an interesting fight. Listen, what I would think is that Caio can win the fight if he keeps it standing. But Rainier will try to get him to the ground as soon as possible. I know Rainier, he doesn't care about credentials from other fighters. He thinks his grappling, his ground game is like the premier, is like the best there is. So he will try to get him to the ground. And with Caio, I don't know how Caio looks at it. I think Caio thinks his ground game is pretty good as well, and he can match Rainier. But I also think that Caio knows that on the feet, he has a good chance to do damage there. So it depends on what Caio wants. And obviously, if he can go to that game plan, because Rainier will try to get him to the ground. And who gets top position there is also very important, when they hit the ground.
If Ray, you've mentioned before, Rainier hadn't felt well the last two fights leading up, and that's why his performances, he said, weren't great. Should he go up to 205 then? If this is something about, in terms of his health, and maybe it's just he can't, he's getting up there in age, 185 is a pain in the ass. Is he somebody who should consider going up to 205 and not have to cut the weight so much?
Yeah, I would think it makes sense, but I think he said before that 205, these guys are a lot bigger than him. But at 185, he looks like a massive guy himself. So um, I don't know, to be honest. The thing is, like, Rainier really needs to get the fight to the ground 9 out of 10 times to do his job, to go to his strength points. I think at 205, it's much more difficult to get these guys to the ground, probably, because they have more mass. It's more difficult, more heavier to get them to the ground. At the same time, at 205, a lot of guys are not really great grapplers. I think he can match a lot of these guys, but you have to get them down because there are some power punchers in 205 who can possibly knock him out. So he got to get this fight to the ground. And I don't know what the mass this guy had if he gets him to the ground. We've seen him before in one championship, where he fought middleweight, which was 205 actually. But I got to say, like, the guys he fought there, like Ong Lan Sang is a good fighter, but overall these guys cannot like match these guys in the UFC in my opinion.
Well, it's that time of the year where we start talking presents, we start talking Santa Claus. So that's right. Marcel Dorff is playing Santa Claus for a bunch of UFC fighters. We're letting him in charge. He gets to tell the elves, hey, this is what you need to do. Tells Mrs. Claus, hey, those chocolate chip cookies better have extra chocolate chips and vegan style. He's telling Santa, hey, I'll take over damn lists. So let's start off here with some of your favorite fighters.
Yeah.
You are Santa. Magomed Ankalaev goes, Santa, what can I get for Christmas? What are you giving the former UFC light heavyweight champion?
I give him a great surprise out of Czechia, Czech Republic. I met him here, Prohaska. That's a fucking awesome fight. That's a fight I want to see for almost 2 or 3 years already. And I think it would bring out the best in Magomed and it would bring out the best in Yuri as well. That's a fight I want to see. You got Yuri, who always comes to brawl, who always comes to fight, never out of a fight. We saw it last time with Roundtree, 2 rounds down, comes in as a fucking retard and goes crazy and knocks out Roundtree in the third round. And Ankalaev, we know he's a little bit more like, how do you say that, careful with his fighting. But listen, a lot of people will say he sucks because he got knocked out by Pereira in the first round, but the guy's great. He's a really good fighter. And I think Prochazka can get the best out of him. So that's a fight I really want to see, man. And that should be a number one contender fight, in my opinion.
All right. Let's talk about your favorite female fighter. That is
Yeah.
Natalia Silva. She goes, Santa, Marcel, I want a Christmas gift. What can I get? I've been a good girl. I have not done any cheap shots. I have not pissed off anybody. I haven't done any OnlyFans adult content. What can I get for Christmas?
Yeah, dude, I think she's total package, man. She's a great fighter. She's trying to learn English to communicate with the fans, and I think she looks great as well. So I think she's complete package. So um, I think she already deserved the title shot. She won't get it. She's fighting Rose Namajunas because I think she informed by the UFC, like when Valentina comes back, and I think Valentina, they said not soon. So she took the short notice fight against Rose in the first card of the new year. If she wins that fight, I mean, she should fight for a title next. I mean, she's really good. We've seen that. Her striking is super crisp. She's great. She has great kicks. And also her grappling is pretty good as well. So I want to see her for the title. I think she can she can give Valentina Shevchenko a run for the money for sure. So I want to see that fight. And I think she deserves it as well. It's not just bias here. I think she deserves it.
All right, let's talk about your other guy here. We're not sure if he's number one contender or not. We got to figure it out. But Shavkat Rakhmonov comes to go, Santa. It's been a horrible year for me. I've been injured. Haven't said anything controversial, though. I haven't gotten into any brawls outside of the UFC. I've been rehabbing. What can I get for Christmas? What are you giving the guy who basically seems to have gotten a lot of coal this year?
So yeah, the thing is with Shavkat is that he didn't fight last year, this year I should say. So I know he's been injured, which sucks. Obviously, he got this win in his last fight against Ian Gary. Was supposed to fight Bilal Muhammad for the title. Fight didn't happen. It went to Jack Della. Jack got the win. Then Islam beat Jack. So the division rolled on, and a lot of other guys have been coming up for being a contender. So for me, I would make Shavkat and I let him fight somebody else before fighting for a title. I wouldn't give him immediately Islam, but I would give him somebody in the top. He can fight Michael Morales, for example. Makes sense, I think. Carlos Prates makes sense. Even Kamaru Usman makes sense. I would go with Shavkat Rakhmonov Kamaru Usman. That's the fight I would go with. And if Shavkat wins, he gets the next title shot. And I think the UFC probably going to do Islam against Gary or Islam against Morales. So yeah, and if Shavkat wins that one, he's next for the title, I think, because these guys have been active. We're now fighting. You can say Gary lost to Shavkat, but since then he got that good win. He got those good wins over Prates and over what's his name again? Fill me in.
Bilal
Prates
Muhammad?
and Bilal Muhammad, yeah, and got the win over Bilal Muhammad. So yeah, I mean these guys probably have surpassed him now. But yeah, give him Usman, or either give him the guy who doesn't fight for a title and is also should be in contention, one of the two, and then he can fight for a title later next year.
Well, you see here in this photo, we get a very young Peter Yan, and he's going, Santa, I got my Christmas gift already. I got a UFC Bantamweight Championship, but I've been good. I won 3 fights. Dana's happy with me now. So what can I get for Christmas from you?
Yeah, I mean he beat Marab last time. It's now 1-1 between the two. I don't think the UFC goes for a rematch right now for Marab, although I think he should get it, to be honest. He helped the UFC out a couple of times last year by defending his belt while he wasn't really supposed to be on the card, but he wanted to be on the card and he helped them out. So I think he deserves it. But I think what the UFC is going to do, and for Jan, that would be great because that's a free title defense, in my opinion. I think the UFC is going to hope that Sean O'Malley beats Song Yadong and they're going to do the second fight with Sean O'Malley because that's the only way they can get Sean O'Malley back into a title fight. So I think they're going to do that. Although I think Umar Nurmagomedov, if he beats Figueiredo, he should fight Piotr Jan. And I think if Jan fights the way he fought against Murat the second time, nobody's going to beat him anytime soon in the division. Also Umar not. So um, if I come from my side, I would say Jan against either Umar or Murat, one of the two. But I think the UFC is going to go with Sean O'Malley probably.
Well, let's go to your number one guy. That's right. Ilya Taporia was that, and yes, I know it's. Hey, look, I blame Grok. Couldn't gave me a little bit of an older version of Ilya, but it's Ilya Taporia and Santa, aka
Brother,
Marcel. So Marcel, Ilya comes and goes, "Hey, Santa, look, I'm trying to do everything right by the kids. I'm stepping aside for family reasons. I'm probably getting blackballed. Whoever it is doing that, put them on the naughty list. But Santa, what can I get for Christmas? I did everything you want. Yes, I got a little bit crude with Patty Pimblett. Said I wanted to put a certain, let's say, roasted chestnuts on his forehead. I meant that as a joke, I think. Well, so what should Santa? What is Ilya Taporia getting for Christmas?
by the way, this picture looked like Santa with Indian Pierce Brosnan. But
I blame
uh,
Grok for that.
amazing. Yeah, I mean, listen, Ilya is first to have to get this thing straight with his personal life. You know, very unfortunate things happen apparently. Um, he probably fights the winner of Gaethje against Pimblett, and I figure it will probably be Pimblett if it's up to the UFC. You know, should have been Arman Sarukian. I think he deserves to fight Ilya next. That's the fight the UFC should make because, in my opinion, the UFC should still be the best against the best, and not the best against the guy they want to push. So I would make Ilya against Arman if he comes back, but obviously he will fight the winner of the interim title fight. But yeah, looking forward. I hope he comes back soon. Um, I mean, this guy is the prime of his career and is now dealing with personal stuff, which fucking sucks, you know. But yeah, let's hope he comes back soon.
On a serious note with that, like how tough is it when you're at that level where, as you said, and we don't know the full details when he's
Mm-hmm.
trying to keep that quiet, but I mean, when you're at that level where now everybody wants to know your business and
Yeah,
whether it's right or wrong, people are going to report stuff. Like, how tough is it for Ilya right now trying to have normalcy, fight, train, and even just be a father when now everything's out there? And who knows what's going to get reported? I'm even not going to speculate, but if it gets ugly, everybody finds out, and you can't hide it. Like for a guy like Taporia, how tough is it going to be for him going forward just to have normalcy?
yeah, it's difficult, of course, you know, because he's a superstar, you know. So people will talk about it, will have their opinion about it. Listen, personally, myself, I couldn't care less about private situation. I think it's for everybody private, you know, and people should keep it private, and people should stop trying to, to give their opinion about it. You know, you don't know the exact details. I don't know the exact details. You know what I mean? So that's always annoys me when that stuff happens. That's why you also don't see me tweet about that kind of stuff. You know, it doesn't concern me. I would be upset if somebody mingles with my personal life. If I was somebody famous or whatever, you know, I would be really annoyed by it. So I don't do it. But a lot of these, what's what I said, a lot of these people don't know the boundaries now with the internet and all the stuff they can have access to. So yeah, I don't know what I would do, but it sucks, and I just hope that he gets his things all going again, because listen, it sucks for him to have this in his life right now, but it also sucks for us as like us fans because the best Ilya is right now, and the best Ilya should fight now, but he can't because he has other stuff to take care of, which fucking sucks, you know.
Finally, yes. Grok got this one a little bit correct. France
Yeah, that was better.
Ngannou, yes. The one is like I type in everything. Yeah, we have no idea who Tapori is. We have no idea who Marab is. Francis Ngannou. Yep, Grok knew who that was. So Francis goes to you and he goes, Marcel, Santa, I'm getting a Christmas gift. What is it? Do you give Francis Ngannou say no? You're getting Cole, or are you going like Aunt Evans and Dana like, oh crap, you're a big scary man. I want to get out of here. Please leave it alone. I'll give you anything. Please don't beat me up, Francis.
Listen, I hope Francis. Listen, if there wouldn't be any problems, would I love to see Francis go back to the UFC? 100,000%, I would love to see him go back to the UFC. Of course, I want to see him back at the UFC. He should be fighting the best heavyweights in the world, and he's one of the best, if not the best heavyweight in the world. So obviously, I would. Who wouldn't love to see him back in the UFC? Everybody would love to see him back in the UFC, but I've been burned. The bridges have been burned. So it's not going to happen. But as me, if I was Santa, yeah, for sure, let him go back to the UFC. I'm letting him fight the top guys in the heavyweight division right now. Why not? I mean, everybody would love to see that. But yeah, I mean, I think there's a bigger possibility I'll make my flyweight debut in 5 years than we see Ngannou back. But hey, I hope so. If there is a little bit of hope, we should hope it will happen.
So let's say he goes to you, goes, hey, Santa, aka Marcel.
Yeah.
I'm going back to the UFC. I want to fight John Jones at the UFC White House. Do you give him that? Do you, Marcel, give him and John Jones that? Or you go, no, you two are getting cold. And you're going to like it.
Yeah, give him that. Why not? Do it, but not for the title. But do it. Yeah, I would be cool with it. I have no problem with it. Why not? It's a fun fight.
Because you're the one who keeps telling me, no, no, no. John Jones should not get fun fights after he screwed the heavyweight division up and
No, 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 no. I said
retired.
John Jones shouldn't get involved into a title fight right now. That's what I said.
Well, right now the title might be held up because poor Tom Aspinall can't still see.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if Dana goes, all right, yeah, we're doing an interim title fight. Francis Ngannou versus John Jones.
Would that be something, right? Then you have like Tom who is out with the actual title, and then you have John Jones with the interim title. That would be something, you know.
You
So
want that for Christmas, I bet. I bet when you went to that Mountain Mall, Santa, you're like, hey, Santa, look. And I know you're not the real Santa. He's in the North Pole, but if you get the other Santa, get him on the phone, tell him, hey, look, John Jones, Francis Ngannou, interim title fight. I want tickets. I can then set up my own political meetings with, Geert and Trump. I can then come out like a big star. Make it happen, Santa.
the Geert and Trump already have met apparently like a
Yeah, but
couple
you
of
can,
months ago.
as I said, you're aiming high. You've been a very good boy. You haven't, as you said, you haven't talked trash too much on Twitter. You haven't, done any OnlyFans content with like an Instagram model. You haven't got any Twitter beefs online with fighters. So you've been a good boy. See, I mean, you're shooting high now. Like, hey, Santa, I've been a very good boy compared to other people. I'm aiming high. I want a big gift, not a small gift. Big gift.
Sure, do it. I'm good with it. I'm good with it. It's my Christmas present to you. There you go.
Well, my Christmas present's a bit bigger because I was thinking about this. I spoke with, I've been through channels here with people with, they'll say,
All right.
Elliot Tapori, and he and I go, Santa, you know what you really want for Christmas? Elliot Taporia versus Conor McGregor, UFC White House for a big bag. So if your buddy Taporia goes, hey, me versus Conor McGregor, big bag of cash, UFC White House. Do you give that to Taporia, or do you go, no, you don't deserve that much here. You deserve a gift, but not that gift.
You can fight go Connor and Misfits if you want. I no, I don't need to see Connor anymore. I'm sorry, dude. We're over that. We're past that. It's 2025. It's not 2016 anymore. We're past that. So no, I'm sorry.
So before we let you go, so what do you want for Christmas? You in general, as a UFC fight fan slash podcaster slash analyst. What are you hoping for in terms of gifts for the new year? You get anything you want. Give me five things you want to see in the new year in terms of your personal MMA UFC Christmas gifts.
Rudy Latini. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just like what Andrew Feely said on the presser. What do I want for Christmas? I'm not that much demanding, to be honest, dude. What do I want? If you do you ask about matchups or do you ask in general?
Anything. You've been a good, as I said to Marcel, you've been a good boy. No, like
Yeah.
OnlyFans content with Instagram models dancing on tables naked. You haven't gotten into any flame wars. You haven't, done drugs I know of. You haven't even, dare I say, like leaked any like private conversation with fighters. You've been a good boy. So if Santa says, I'll give you anything you want, and he goes, You go, what would you want in terms of like MMA, UFC that has been on your mind?
What I want for a UFC related, just like matchups that make sense.
Matchups, events, guys, you
Give
people,
us,
you fun things like what would
give,
you
give,
want?
give us a fucking event in the Netherlands, man. What's up? I mean, why can't you go every fucking year to London and Paris and put the same fucking fights on every year? Give us a fucking event over here in the Netherlands, you know? What's up with that? Um, yeah, that, you know, just good matchups and not matchups for guys that want to push who don't deserve it. You know what I mean? Just matchup who have been deserved by number one and our top contenders fighting for a title. That's what I want. Um, and just that the sport grows in quality and not in quantity. You know what I mean? That all fights, like the majority of the fights, are really good, and not like some fights are good and the other are like filling of the other of the products. You know, that would be something. Um, Pretty much that, you know, and yeah, pretty much that. I don't have anything else that I really want in UFC related.
I'm surprised. I thought the obvious one, you didn't mention the obvious one,
What is it?
that the UFC brings a major fight card to Amsterdam. I mean,
I
I
said the
thought of all
Netherlands.
things, that'd be the one like, all right, hey, look,
I said the
you haven't
Netherlands.
been to the Netherlands in a long time, UFC. Come back. That's all I want for Christmas. Just come back to the Netherlands. Just one big fight. Give me a
Yeah,
one big major fight. The Poria versus, you know what? We'll get wild and kinky here. Ilya Taporia versus Jim Miller. Put that in the Netherlands.
you and your Jim Miller, dude. My God, that's a not against the Furia. What do you want to do with Jim Miller, man? Come on, the guy is a veteran. Let's give him some respectable fights. Not a guy who is like literally a killer right now. You know. But yeah, I want to. Obviously, I want to have listen. Not even a numbered card, but a fight night in the Netherlands is already good enough for me. You know, I enjoyed the first two ones that were here, but it's been like in 2016 and 2017, man. It's like. It's like been forever since they've been here. So
There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. It's a wild little bit, got off the rails a bit, but hey, it's a Christmas episode. And there's no UFC fights, so we're throwing you a little bit of a gift and trying to entertain ourselves. I give you once again, all the way from Eurosport UFC, MMA Oddsbreaker podcast, and also his own podcast. I give you topology editor, analyst, MMA writer himself. I'll give you Marcel Dorff. So, Marcel, once again, where can fans check you out at? Where is we Twitter, the Instagram, the YouTube channel? Where can fans hit you up at?
Marcel24, Twitter, Instagram, Eurosport website, Eurosport.nl mixed martial arts section for articles. MMA will be daily podcast with Adam Martin, which will be this week on Sunday, 7:30 p.m. Eastern. And yeah, I mean, we're right before Christmas, right? So I want to wish all followers of yours and everybody who's listened here. Want to wish you and your family a Merry Christmas. Obviously, have great days with everybody you love, and yeah, Happy New Year as well. You know, but first of all, hope you have great days, guys, and thanks for listening all the time, and also you, Chris. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year already, and all the best to you. And yeah, thank you so much for always getting me on the show. I appreciate it a lot. It's always fun talking to you. And I hope you have great days as well.
Happy holidays and Merry Christmas to you, good sir. Marcel Dorff, once again, check him out on Tapology. He's on Twitter, Instagram, all over the place, including Eurosport UFC, MMA Oddsbreaker podcast. Always on a pleasure to have you on the show. We come back. Got a lot more going on here, only on It's Last Call. Last Call, the alcohol, only on the Last Call podcast.com.